So what if you have a bunch of priceless cassette recordings that you've had for years and you want to digitize those, get them into the computer and save those tapes from degrading? Well, you have a couple of different ways of doing it. You could use a regular cassette deck, digitize it in that way, or you could buy the cheap Amazon device that I've got here today that claims to digitize them into MP3s. Let's check it out and see if it's worth it. Now let's just get it out there to begin with. I'm going into this with a very skeptical attitude. Most of the new cassette decks that are being made are absolutely terrible. So I'm expecting this to be absolutely terrible. But I want to give it a fair shake, and we're going to take some tapes that I've recorded using this Sony deck, and we're going to digitize them with this device and see how they sound. Let's start off by getting this thing out of the box and getting it ready to digitize. Now, to be honest, I really do want to give this a fair review and a fair shakedown. I want it to work. I want this to be a good device. It wasn't terribly expensive. I think I paid, I don't know, $20-something on Amazon for it. And my experience with that type of price point is that they're pretty bad. I'm hoping this one is a little bit better, and it's clear, which I thought was cool. Now, why would anybody want to digitize old cassettes? Well, here's my opinion. If you have pre-recorded cassette tapes that you bought back in the day, I wouldn't digitize these. You can get high quality digital files already. So I don't think this is really what they're designed for. Now, if you have your own priceless recordings on cassette that you recorded of your, maybe some relative sitting around the fire playing a guitar or something like that, then absolutely, I think you should digitize that. But digitizing music that's available elsewhere in a better quality, I would just go ahead and get that better quality digital file. I don't want to listen to a digitized cassette album because there's better ways of doing that. If I want the cassette experience, I'll pop the cassette into the recorder. But that's just my thoughts on it. So let's go ahead and get this thing out of the box and see what it's all about. Now, if we look at the front of the box here, it does tell us, convert your old tapes into MP3, WAV, or WMA files, etc. Okay. Auto reverse and recorder the tape directly. So we got a little bit of Chinglish there. Battery or USB powered operation for PC. Okay. Let's see what the back says. Do we have any specs here? Product parameters, size, weight, ABS plastic. 5 volt or DC 3 volts, battery AA, okay, USB 2.0, and it's pretty generic. Shows a cassette tape, the device, and a computer. We'll see if it's that simple. Let's go ahead and get it out of the box here. Alright, so we've got, looks like a pair of earbuds that are no doubt absolutely terrible. We've got our USB, like maybe a micro USB to a USB-A cable, the device, and some instructions. So let's take a look at this instruction manual first, see if it's any good. All right, now it does mention in here a software CD. It says make sure you've received the following items: the tape to MP3 converter, we've got that. USB cable, we've got that. Earphones, we've got that. User manual, we've got that. But on number 2, it says software CD. So that was not included in here, but it does say if your PC doesn't have a CD-ROM, you can download Audacity. Okay, so maybe it was just an audio editing software, so it doesn't look like we have to have anything special for it. That's good. All right, so the user manual basically is just telling us what this thing does. The functions, fast forward, rewind. This may have fast forward and rewind. That's a little bit better than the portable device that I had gotten off Amazon before. So it tells you how to install Audacity. So it looks like that's what they're using for at least like the audio editing. So I wonder if this just creates one big file that you then have to break down into tracks. Play your cassette, press record button in the software. So, okay, so it seems like this doesn't actually capture stuff directly onto the device. It looks like it maybe just converts it and streams it over USB. Well, that'll be interesting. We'll see what that does as we get further into it. Let's go ahead and open up the device here. All right. Did I break it already? I hope not. All right, let's see. Looks like we've got some protective film on here that's kind of holding this door on. Let's go ahead and peel that off. If I can get my fingernails underneath it. Well, okay, so this maybe does not have an actual cassette door mechanism on it. It doesn't appear to, or does it? It just feels really cheap, like I'm going to break it if I pull too hard on it. Is that holding that door on? I don't want to mess with this for 2 hours trying to get this plastic off. There we go. It looks like it's just on the door. Oh yeah, that's pretty terrible. All right. So this door here appears to maybe just be a cover. Do we have it? Okay. Ah, that's why I couldn't get it open. It opens sideways. That's bizarre. So yeah, there's a little button on the side that flips this open. So that's probably the first one I've seen like that. That plastic was caught underneath that door. All right, good enough. All right, well, let's take a look around this thing. Well, it feels a little bit more solid, at least the body of it does, than that other device I had gotten on Amazon. But being clear, I think it's kind of neat. We can see the mechanism inside. Get that angle where you can see it. Looks like we have pretty much plastic flywheels on here. There's a little bit of metal there, but not a whole lot. I don't expect this to be great in the wow and flutter department. But if we go ahead and open this up, it does have a 4-track head, so that's what it's using for the auto reverse. All right, so I managed to get some batteries in it. Wasn't the easiest thing in the world. But let's go ahead and get a tape loaded, and it just drops right in there on the mechanism. I'm going to leave this door open so that we can see this a little bit better. But what I've got right now is just a direct feed of the audio out. I'll capture some of this so we can see how this sounds by itself just as a cassette player before we listen to the digital capture from it. Now, I'm going to play a little section of this tape from my Sony deck so that you can hear what it sounds like normally, and then we'll cut to this direct capture of this device. Now we'll do a direct capture with the USB, and I'm using an old version of Magic Samplitude just so I don't screw up my settings in my other version of it. So we'll go ahead and get this recording and see how she does. So my opinion of this, absolutely not. You could hear how terrible the wow and flutter was on it. And did you notice all of the noise, pops, hiss, the hum of the motor, everything that came through on the recording? If you didn't catch that, go back and listen to both the direct capture of the audio and the USB capture, and you'll hear that in there. I think this is a terrible way to digitize a cassette. I think the best way to do it, if you have to do it, is use an actual cassette deck, use a good input device. I use a Motu M2 capture device for all of my direct capture stuff, and it works great. I think that's the way to do it if you want good quality captures of your analog cassette tapes. This thing, no good as a portable stereo, and even worse as a digitizer. So this one, probably won't use it again. So what do you think? What are your thoughts on the device? Do you think it's as bad as I do? How do you digitize your tapes, or do you at all? Until next time, I've been Chad here at the Vintage Electronics channel. I want to remind you, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out, and I've enjoyed our time here today. Until next time, happy listening.